So here we are on the battlefield, and I'll just pause the game so we can see the way I've arranged my forces. Even though we're intercepting the Austrian army, we still have our fortress, which is apparently damaged. And I had to put some units outside because I wanted to use the cannons, and you can't put them on the walls. So then I had to have units out there protecting them, and eventually, after putting out all of the units needed to defend them and then the units to support them, I ended up having most of my units outside of the fortress, but that's okay. You can see the Austrians have some cavalry around on the side of me, so I'll have to be careful about keeping my eye on them. It shouldn't be a problem though, because I can just put my infantry in square formation, and unless my infantry are engaged with their infantry at the same time, it shouldn't be too much of a trouble for me. Anyway, it looks like the Austrians are going to come to me, which is strange because I'm intercepting them, so you'd think that I would be expected to attack, but I don't know. And I'm going to rearrange my infantry over here to face the cavalry in case they try to charge me. And it looks like they will. And with another unit, they're actually going to be coming close to my artillery, so I put canister shot, had them load canister shot. And I'd really like for them to get a shot off, but it looks like that's not really going to happen. Fortunately, though, they're charging my infantry instead of the cannons. Yeah. They really should have charged the cannons rather than the infantry in square formation, I would have had to pull troops away from my left to defend the cannons had they attacked them. But now they're coming up with more infantry, and the artillery is doing its best, but there is a little hill in the way. The ground isn't flat, but the cavalry there seem to still be attacking the square formation, and the infantry look to be interested in a melee attack, because they could definitely fire at us now if they wanted to. Maybe they aren't, I don't know. And over here, the Austrians are kind of hooking around with one infantry unit, so I'll have to make sure that they don't attack me from the flank. I told my guards to stop firing because they might have been shooting my own men in the back, and I'm just keeping them there as a reserve. I'm going to bring my infantry out here. Oh, well, I thought I'd be able to just shoot at their cavalry, but it looks like they're going to try to attack me again, so I had them reform square formation. But it looks like the infantry over here actually are trying to maybe get into my fortress through the hole in the wall, so I sent the guys on the wall over to shoot at them. And here my allies came with their cavalry. But they're going to dismount right here, and how convenient. Just leaving all of their forces right in the middle of my soldiers. But my allies have another regiment coming up to meet the Austrians here, so it looks like they probably won't be able to enter the fortress. Instead, they're going to try to climb the walls, and that's actually, I think, going to be more difficult for them, because I have my units right above them, shooting at them and using the in-place cannons. Switch back to cannonballs. I don't want them shooting at... you can actually have the cannons shoot at each other if you have them target something to their side, because all the cannons will line up and be pointing at each other. But, yeah, I don't want them to do that. Anyway, most of the Austrians appear to be routing already, except for this unit climbing the walls, and we have some cavalry here. not sure about what they're doing. And I also don't know why we aren't firing at them. But that should be it, except for this cavalry unit here. And, you know, their morale isn't great. But the infantry are coming back. And, I don't really see any reason why their second attack will be better than their first one. You know, they just have less men and lower morale now. But I'll have to reform my men on the wall. And it's really just them. So, end the battle. It was a heroic victory, by the way. I didn't show that, but you can see the statistics here. Statistics. Okay. So the workers went on strike, but it looks like over here they are pacified now. They're not happy, you know, but they're over it. And when workers go on strike, it doesn't damage anything. It's the next turn that when they start rioting and smashing things. So if you can just go one turn having people on strike, it's not a big deal. So that was a good victory for us, pushing the Austrians back. And if you look here, my allies actually captured Saxony. So, you know, that's pretty rare that you see a minor really take a big, especially an important region like that, from a country like Austria. But you know, the opportunity was right, and the Austrians should have their hands full with Poland, and I forget my ally's name actually. So I remember I'm narrating this after I recorded it because there was an issue with the microphone, and I have to see it on a little picture, not full screen, in Windows Movie Maker. So I can't really read things, but you can. Anyway, I'm pointing at stuff right now, but it looks like we'll be able to siege the Austrians now. And that should be a good battle. I'd know because I played it. But I'm just switching my troops around right now because I want more infantry to be in the main attacking army. You know, having a lot of cavalry isn't that useful. I'll just leave a few units, you know, the 3 that were in there along with the 2 generals. And that should be good. And the other army can just siege them as well. And over in the Americas, we can take Jamaica. The pirates came over and raided this port, which is really annoying, but I'm just going to kick them out and rebuild it. And we can start upgrading a lot of the towns in North America, well, the Americas now, because the pirate threat is really diminishing. And I think I'll eliminate them, even if I don't kill all of their ships. If I take their islands, I think they'll be eliminated as a faction. I hope. You see they're still blocking off a lot of our trade. I'm trying to find where that is. They're doing that, and it's down here where they're blockading my port. There's at least one place where they're cutting into my trade lines. So we can go ahead and take Jamaica. It's pretty simple. Yeah, of course they're not going to surrender. I don't know if the pirates ever surrender. Surrender's pretty rare in this game, but it does happen. I've never had it happen with anything like pirates or rebels, but, you know, it's conceivable that we might see a surrender at some point if I attack the Austrians or something, and the forces within the city just aren't, you know, it's not worth fighting because the Austrians think it'll be better to withdraw them and then unite them with something else and then fight me in a different way. But I guess the pirates don't think like that, and it's not like they'd have anywhere to go after, you know, they'd just be on the island that I'd own. It's not easy to go fall back to some other fortification. So basically right now I'm looking at the two different lines of buildings you can build to repress the people. And this one here is actually, well, as you can see from what I just showed you, the building split up into two different, I guess, pathways of development. There's the military buildings, which give you a lot of different units you can train, and then there's also the repression buildings. They're not called that, but the repression-based buildings are better at controlling people. So I destroyed that so I can build from the ground up, going down the repression track rather than the military track, because it's not really useful to me to be able to build a bunch of different units in Jamaica. I care more about just controlling the people in the absence of troops. I'm gonna kick the pirates out of there. And I think it might be time to attack the Austrians. We have the advantage. You know, but there's still a sizable Austrian force defending. And in a few seconds, this will cut to the battlefield. Just give you a second to see the forces, or something like that. I just have one battery of artillery, but it should be fine, especially considering that infantry can scale the walls. I was obviously saying stuff at the time I recorded this, but I don't know now. Anyway, here we are on the battlefield, and I have most of my units hidden in forests. We have some infantry over here on the right flank with my less important general, and artillery in the middle, because you can't really hide them, and you don't want them firing through the forest. And then almost everything else is on the left flank. And the Austrians here are kind of arranged in a strange way. I do expect they'll move before I get to the walls, so it doesn't really matter so much where they are now. They do have artillery outside of their base, their fortress, and that looks like it's kind of even pointed at their own fortifications, but they'll definitely be able to see all of these units over here once I start marching them out. I'm going to have them attack the wall, though. Have my artillery attack the wall, hopefully kill a bunch of their men or something. And actually, I think it'll be better if I attack here. I don't remember if destroying the corners actually puts a hole in the wall or not, but attacking here will, for sure. And they're bringing some cavalry out, so I'll need to deal with that. Anyway, we could start marching the men up, because I'd like them to try to take the wall somewhere before the Austrians are in position. I'm going to bring the cavalry out, because we'll probably have to fight their cavalry with ours. I don't want their cavalry to be able to disrupt my infantry's movements. You know, just delay them long enough for the Austrians on the walls to get into position. So, I'm moving up on the right flank a little bit too. these troops up to. You see, I can't read the names, but the two units that are lagging behind don't form ranks in the same way that the rest of my infantry do. They're more spread out, so I don't think they'd be as useful in attacking. They're also not as good in hand-to-hand combat, so I'm going to try to keep them out of this battle unless I really need them. I'm going to go ahead and attack with my cavalry. Just put them in wedge formation to try seeing what would happen if I, charged their cavalry. If I was in wedge formation, I think I might be able to split them up a little bit better. But we're getting in position to attack the walls. Well, to assault the walls and try to get some, a foothold on top of the fortifications. And I'm trying to finish off the artillery quickly so I can go back and help my other two cavalry regiments. And it looks like we're done with them. So I'll have my cavalry charge the back of them. Their cavalry. And now the infantry can go scale the walls of the actual fortress, while the other infantry take the walls of that little structure that's disconnected from the main fortress. I don't know what that's called, actually. But now their cavalry appears to be routing. So I'm gonna just come back here because I don't really have a use for my cavalry anymore. For now. Maybe once we take the gates we can bring them into the fortress, but there isn't really anything they can do right now other than die. So, from the defenders' cannons and muskets. So I'll just bring them back. And now, this game is kind of weird when you are doing combat on the walls. You can see that strange formation my infantry went into. So, and that's weird too, what they're doing. But we are engaging some of the Austrian infantry in hand-to-hand combat there. I need more men up there on top of the fortifications though, so I don't just lose the foothold that I did just gain. And now we're trying to attack them here. You can see a lot of the Austrian units are, elite units and also experienced. So it won't be easy to, we'll have to kill them all, because they probably won't rout until there are very few men left. But the Austrians are running their men into my infantry here. And I'm trying to get my other units to climb, the ropes or whatever it is that we threw up. And I'd like to have my infantry, charge over and support their fellow soldiers here fighting the Austrians, but it's not always easy to control men on the walls. I think it's one of the less fine-tuned aspects of this game, but whatever, you just kind of have to deal with it. So that is good news, though, which means I can move any troops into the fortress now. I was specifically thinking about the cavalry, but for now, I won't make use of that. I'm just going to bring the general up to give him a morale bonus. And the Austrians are still standing their ground, annoyingly. We do have some more units we can send at them, though, that I'm holding in reserve, so it's not really a problem that they haven't routed yet. Meanwhile, the Austrian cannons are just kind of shooting canister shot at us. It's not that effective because of if you look here, they can't really see us. If anything, they might be shooting their own men. But I'm trying to get the selected unit to come up on the wall. And if they do that, then I can attack the Austrians on that little bridge structure from two sides and kill a lot of them, maybe get them to rout. But it'll take a while for my men to climb the walls. But this unit, well, it was wavering, but now they seem to have recovered, and now they're wavering again. And even if they do rout, if I don't shatter them, they'll probably just go down to the middle of the fortress and then recover their morale, and then I'll have to fight them again. So it won't really, you know, take them out of the battle unless they shatter. Or fight to the death, of course. And it looks like they actually did fight to the death. Their banner is gone. So now I'm just dealing with the other unit remaining there. And it looks like I will win this fight. I just outnumber them by so much. The Austrians kind of need a miracle to push back the numbers of my men. Not really winning through skill here, the skill of my soldiers, just number. And I'm going to bring my cavalry up, thinking about attacking their cavalry unit. But then I realized they actually have these ranged cavalry here, so I'm going to charge them. And maybe get to flank them. Get that flanking bonus. They should rout soon. And it looks like you'll take the walls in just a few minutes, except for that one unit over there in the corner. And then, keep in mind, this whole time my cannons have been shooting at the walls of this fortress, so there should be a hole there pretty soon for the men on my right flank to move through. And now most of the combat is finished on the walls. Just 2 more units I need to clean up. And I'm trying to send my cavalry through the gate to take out their cavalry. And if you look here, there's just 1 man left, 1 citizen left in that unit. And it's really surprising that he hasn't routed yet. Usually, I mean, it's kind of quite an achievement to get a unit of armed citizenry down to just 1 man, because usually, you know, they'll rout far before that. But the Austrians are still holding, but it can't be long now. And then I'll be able to bring the infantry down into the fortress and finish off what's left of the defenders. Cavalry, though, I can't see if this is the same unit or a different unit that I just fought. But I'm bringing 1 of my regiments around just to kind of encircle them a little bit better. I should have actually waited, but I didn't have the patience for that. I should have brought my cavalry out all of the way and then had them charge back in. You can see the cannons are still firing at me with canister shot. It might be doing something now, because I'm actually, you know, up at the edge of the walls. But But now I can start bringing down most of my men, putting them back into, you know, having the same orders that they did before. But I'm actually going to finish off that one man left at the bottom of the ramp. Bringing these 5 regiments up because the wall should come down soon. My cannons can keep up the pace. And when it does, a lot of those men... Oh, okay. No, very few died. I was hoping to see more of them die, but now my soldiers can run through this gap in the wall and start firing at whoever's within the fortress. I'm going to bring the general up too. And now the men on the wall need to... I selected the general here on accident, so I'll just have to fix that. Bring the men on the wall down into the fortress, and they can fire at the artillery and the general and whatever. We'll take the middle of the fortress, and then it'll only be 2 minutes. You know, we'll have the 2-minute countdown, and then we'll win regardless of how many enemies are still alive. But we're still dealing with the cavalry out here. It seems to be under control, though. That one man is still alive, and he actually gained some experience, I think, just fighting us. So hopefully someone will kill him. Now my men are pouring down the ramp, and... wow. Still fighting. But it's almost over for the Austrians. I just have to deploy my men, and then it won't take long to finish off the remaining soldiers that the Austrians have in the fortress. Now I'm just pretty much bringing everyone into the fortress, and it really won't be long until the Austrians are done with. It actually makes more sense to take the middle of the fortress and wait for the 2-minute countdown, because if you look, the Austrians do still have that one unit on the wall, and I can just avoid having to kill them if I take the center of the fortress. I'm just bringing my men up to shoot at the enemy general, and it's if he's not going to attack me, it's easier to just shoot at him than charge him, because I won't lose any men this way. I'm gonna have to change the way my men are arranged soon, so I don't shoot myself. I'm gonna do that now. Just have these men face the other way. I don't want them firing at the men in front of them. And I thought those were Austrians there, but it was actually just the rest of that regiment coming into formation. So that's okay with me, I guess. And we're gonna bring the cavalry out. Or, yeah, bring them out. Just to prevent casualties. And step back a little bit. And the general units must have some sort of bonus to, you know, resistance to musket fire or something like that. Because no other unit would have taken that many shots to kill. You know, they just might have some, like... I bet the game's not implying that they can just be shot and not get hurt, but I bet there's just some luck factor involved that the game gives them. You know, the chances of shooting a general as opposed to any other unit are a lot lower. But now we just have to hold the middle of the square, the fortress, and we'll win, even though one Austrian unit is still alive and has actually escaped combat. But they'll die because this is an elimination battle, and all Austrian units will die if they lose, which they certainly will. Just run down the timer here. And we'll end the battle. Heroic victory. You can see the results here. So that was a very good battle for us. And maybe we'll be able to, I don't know if we have military access in Bavaria, but if we get it, we can go and attack the Austrians, and if we don't, then I'll have to march them around and attack somewhere else. So, obviously, region captured, and one of my generals gained a trait. I was hoping it would be the one without really any traits, but it's actually the one that was already better. Anyway, the episode ends here, so I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and share, whatever.